I bought plane tickets for the whole family, but at the airport, my daughter-in-law said, "We gave your ticket to my mom. The grandkids love her more." My son agreed. I silently nodded and walked away. But a moment later, I did something that made them beg me to cancel the trip. I'm Beatrice Harlan, and at 65, I've built a life around my art gallery in Chicago, curating pieces that tell stories of resilience and quiet strength. I'd been saving for this getaway to Hawaii, a private beachfront villa with ocean views and spa days, all paid for my earnings. It was meant as a family treat, but really, it was my way to celebrate turning the page on years of supporting everyone else. The O'Hare terminal was alive with that familiar rush, people hurrying to gates, announcements echoing. I stood a bit apart, holding our documents tight. Passports, bookings, everything I'd handled down to the last detail. This trip wasn't cheap. Business class flights, a chartered boat transfer, the villa with its own infinity pool. I'd planned it for months, thinking of the twins splashing around, my son relaxing for once, his wife unwinding from her endless complaints. But the air felt off. My son fidgeted with his phone, avoiding my eyes since we left home. His wife whispered urgently to her mother, who showed up uninvited with a bulging suitcase. I figured she was just seeing us off, her usual dramatic farewell. That suitcase said otherwise. When we approached the counter, tension hit like a wave. My daughter-in-law stepped in front, flashing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She laid out the passports, 4 of them ours, the 5th her mother's. That's when she turned to me with that fake sympathy. Friends, before we get deeper into this tale of family twists and hard lessons learned, I've got a quick ask. If you love stories about standing your ground and finding justice in unexpected ways, hit that subscribe button, give this a like, and drop in the comments what city you're tuning in from. I'd love to see how these real-life dramas connect us all. Let's dive in. The terminal noise faded as I stepped back, clutching the folder with our travel papers against my chest. Inside were 5 passports and the confirmations that had dipped into my gallery's recent profits, a collection of abstract pieces I'd curated and sold last quarter. Hawaii's secluded North Shore retreat wasn't some budget spot. It was an exclusive villa compound with private beaches and guided hikes, something I'd mapped out for half a year. On paper, it was for the grandkids' summer break, but deep down, it marked my 65th milestone. No big parties or forced gatherings, just waves crashing and my loved ones nearby. I'd covered it all. Premium seats on the flight, a yacht shuttle from the airport, and the main bungalow with its own lanai overlooking the Pacific. I pictured Dylan finally loosening up from his erratic freelance gigs, and Megan easing off her constant gripes about daily stresses. Yet standing there under the harsh overhead lights, I sensed the atmosphere shift like a storm brewing over Lake Michigan. Dylan lingered a few feet off, glued to his screen, shuffling his weight and tugging at his jacket sleeve. He'd been distant since our ride from the suburbs, brushing it off as pre-flight jitters. Guys like him often mask it that way. Megan, though, acted oddly engaged, huddled close to her mother, gesturing rapidly while shielding her words. Carla, that bold woman with her flashy scarves and clinking bracelets showing up here, puzzled me. I hadn't extended an invite. My setup was strictly for 5. Me, Dylan, Megan, and the 7-year-old twins. When Carla rolled in with her oversized luggage, I assumed it was her dramatic send-off routine. Hugs, tears, and a barrage of tips nobody asked for. But that bag screamed more than goodbye. The twins, Logan and Avery, darted around the carry-ons, lost in their games and oblivious to the undercurrent. A chill settled in my gut. Years of spotting fakes in art dealings had sharpened my instincts, and this felt off balance. Still, I pushed it aside. This was kin, my own line. We edged toward the check-in desk. The attendant, crisp in her uniform, glanced up with a professional nod. "Afternoon. Passports, please?" I moved to hand over the stack, but Megan slid in smoothly, her shoulder nudging me aside like it was casual. Right here, she chirped, placing 4 familiar blue covers on the counter. The 5th one she added with a gleam wasn't mine. It was Carla's. I froze. Megan, I said evenly, my tone steady despite the drop inside. That's a mix-up. Yours is your mother's. She pivoted slowly, her expression shifting to that pitying look reserved for bad news about someone else's misfortune. Oh, Ma, she replied, using the term she saved for requests. We discussed it, and figured it'd be smarter if Carla joined instead. The announcements blurred around us, gates closing for flights to New York, laughter from a group nearby. A toddler fussing, but silence enveloped me. Smarter how? I asked, locking eyes on Dylan. He stared at his shoes, scuffing the polished floor. You get it, right? Megan dropped her voice, feigning concern for my image. The haul is over 12 hours. Your recent checkups mentioned fatigue, and that island humidity could spike it. Docs warn against big shifts at your stage. My health's fine, I countered firmly. And this is my celebration. Carla jumped in then, fiddling with her necklace. Be dear, why push yourself? Stay cozy at home, catch up on those gallery catalogs. I'll handle the little ones. They've bonded with me so much lately. Logan even mentioned yesterday he preferred Grandma Carla along. She twisted it. I caught the twins' uneasy glances, picking up on the rift. Dylan, I pressed, making it a plea wrapped in command. He lifted his gaze finally, and there it was, the hesitation I dreaded since his teen years. My investment in him, from covering his education to seeding his shaky consulting side hustle, had somehow bred reliance over resolve. Ma, come on, he muttered, shoulders hunching. Megan's got a point. It's tough on you, and Carla's got more pep. The kids vibe better with her too. No hard feelings. We'll snag you a trinket. It's just optimal for all. For all. I scanned them. Megan hiding a smug edge. Carla eyeing the boarding perks. Dylan trading loyalty for household calm. They'd schemed it, banking on my funding without the fuss, my restraint in public, my pattern of absorbing slights to keep peace. I breathed out, rage cooling into sharp focus, like deciding to pull a flawed exhibit before opening night. Sympathy evaporated. Only strategy lingered. I see, I stated calmly, so composed that Megan blinked twice. I opened the folder, setting the villa vouchers and transfers beside Carla's passport. If that's your call, I won't interfere. You're a gem, Ma, Dylan sighed, relieved, leaning for a quick hug, but I shifted subtly away. Enjoy the skies, I added, turning toward the exits. Behind me, Megan's chuckle carried, told you she'd roll with it. Folks her age crave downtime. I wove through the crowds, posture straight as a canvas frame. The doors slid open to Chicago's crisp wind. No cab for me. Instead, I pulled my phone, scrolling to a contact dormant for 2 years. Evelyn Pierce, my old friend and former curator partner. She answered on the second ring, her voice warm yet raspy from late-night auctions. Beatrice? This is a surprise. Good to hear you. Hello, Evelyn, I replied, watching a jet climb over the skyline. Remember that contingency we outlined for reshaping family holdings if things turned? Of course, but you called it a last resort. It's time. Launch it now. They're at security. Done, she confirmed. I hung up, a genuine smile breaking through for the first time that day. I didn't head home. Instead, I ascended to the upper lounge with its wide views, claiming a spot by the panes. Business travelers milled about, tapping laptops. Herbal tea, please, I told the server who approached. He nodded, returning with a steaming mug that caught the runway glows. I gazed out as their plane taxied slowly, likely settling in already, unbuckling, eyeing the menu. Dylan probably sprawled his legs out, assuming perks bent for him. The tea warmed me, but the resolve inside stayed firm. I opened my banking app, its sleek interface greeting me. For too long, I'd framed it as aid, funneling funds through Dylan's accounts for phantom services, just to bolster his ego as provider. His cards drew from my core reserves. He never glimpsed the true tabs for their condo lease, the twins' after-school programs, his sleek sedan. No more. My finger tapped the access controls. Listed, Dylan Harlan and Megan Harlan, set to unlimited. Ironic. Endless support quantified. I edited, wiping the open limit, keying in 0. Then, the transactions tab, the big one today, $25,000 for the villa deposit, cleared as a family gesture. I disputed it, selecting mismatch and authorization. A prompt flashed, altering this void's guarantees. Charges revert to linked holders as debt. Confirm? The plane lifted, carrying them toward the haven they'd claimed. Yes, I murmured, hitting accept. The display turned green. Updates applied, ties severed. I knew the fallout would hit mid-air. Up there, a steward might wheel the cart. Dylan, showy as ever, ordering a premium bottle to toast independence. Megan snapping photos. Carla oohing over amenities. The card swipe. A harsh denial tone. Apologies, sir. Declined. He'd laugh it off, blame a glitch, proffer the backup. Megan's household won. Same result. Funds short. Panic would creep in, eyes from seats around. The steward retrieving the bottle. Another payment method, or we'll note it for ground handling. I finished my tea, the bitterness matching my intent. Their ascent had begun, and so had their descent. From my spot by the window, the jet taxied out, engines humming steadily as it positioned for takeoff. I lingered there, the lounge's quiet hum contrasting the chaos I'd left behind. The server cleared my empty mug without a word, and I pulled up the app again, scanning for any immediate alerts. None yet. The system needed time to propagate changes across networks. Meanwhile, up in that climbing aircraft, they were probably easing into their seats, trays down, browsing entertainment options. Dylan might request extra pillows, always one for comfort upgrades. Megan could be adjusting her neck rest, Carla settling with a magazine from the pouch. The first snag hit sooner than expected. A stewardess rolled the beverage cart through business class, her smile practiced and efficient. Dylan, ever the enthusiast for premium perks, leaned forward. "A bottle of that sparkling reserve, please," he said casually, sliding his platinum card across. Megan glanced over, already scrolling social media, perhaps posting about the getaway. Carla fiddled with her seat controls, commenting on the legroom. The twins fidgeted mildly, asking for snacks in soft voices. The terminal beeped, a sharp, denying sound. "I'm sorry, sir," the stewardess replied, her tone shifting slightly. "It shows declined. Perhaps try again?" Dylan chuckled lightly, waving it off. "Must be a Stripe issue. Swipe it manually." She did, but the result repeated, red light flashing. "Bank's blocking it, sir. Do you have another?" His confidence wavered, brows knitting. Megan looked up then, her expression turning puzzled. "What's going on?" "Use mine. It's the backup for incidentals." The stewardess took the second card, inserted it. Another beep, this one final. "Insufficient balance here, too." Dylan's face flushed, a mix of embarrassment and confusion spreading. "This can't be right. There's plenty in there. It's got to be a security flag or something." Carla leaned across the aisle. "Well, fix it quick. I'm parched over here." The stewardess held firm. "Without payment, I can't serve the specials. Cash for the open nuts, or we'll handle it on landing." Eyes from nearby passengers darted their way, whispers starting. Dylan fumbled his phone, fingers flying over the screen. He fired off a text to me. "Ma, card's acting up. Glitch? Call bank ASAP." I saw the message pop up but set the device aside, letting it vibrate unanswered. The plane had leveled at cruising altitude by now, the seatbelt sign off. They tried to brush it aside, ordering basic drinks instead, but the unease lingered. Megan muttered about technical errors, blaming airline systems. Carla crossed her arms, grumbling that such mix-ups never happened on her solo trips. The twins sensed the shift, their energy dipping, one whining softly for a game, the other tugging at Dylan's sleeve. He shushed them gently, promising cartoons soon. As the flight stretched on, Dylan's attempts escalated. He called customer service midair, but the connection lagged, representatives citing verification holds without details. Megan pulled up her app, staring at the zeroed limits in disbelief. This isn't random. Something's locked us out. Carla suggested it was my doing, her voice laced with accusation. B probably threw a fit after we left her behind. Petty move. Dylan shook his head, but doubt crept in. He sent another message. Mama, please check accounts. Emergency here. I remained silent, the lounge growing emptier around me. Evelyn texted an update. Protocols fully active, no reversals possible without my override. Their attempts to access joint holdings bounced back, each denial chipping at their composure. The stewardess returned later, noting the unsettled tab. Ground team will meet you if unresolved, she warned quietly. Panic edged higher. Megan gripped her armrest, whispering urgently to Dylan about contingency cash. He rummaged his wallet, finding only small bills. Not enough for the premium they'd assumed endless. Carla huffed, demanding they sort it before landing. Her earlier excitement soured. The twins grew restless again, one complaining of boredom in a low tone. Dylan distracted them with phone games, but his mind raced elsewhere. By mid-flight, resignation mixed with frustration. Megan tried online banking transfers, but those too failed under the new restrictions. We're cut off, she realized, voice cracking slightly. Dylan stared out the window at clouds below, piecing it together. Another text came. Ma, if this is you, talk to us. I powered down the phone, the screen going dark. The lounge attendant offered a refill, but I declined, gathering my things. Outside, I hailed a ride back to the city, the wind carrying a sense of closure. Their journey continued, each mile amplifying the isolation. Attempts to borrow from fellow passengers met awkward refusals. Carla retreated into silence, clutching her bag tighter. The twins dozed fitfully, unaware of the deepening strain. Landing approached, customs forms distributed. Dylan filled them out mechanically, mind on the transfers ahead. Megan scanned emails for any bank notices, finding none. The descent began, wheels touching down in Honolulu's warmth. They deplaned into the terminal's bustle, the humidity wrapping around like a heavy blanket. At baggage claim, their suitcases arrived intact, but the mood had fractured. Dylan checked his phone again, no responses from me. She knows, he said under his breath. Megan nodded, her earlier smugness gone. Carla pushed past, eager for the next leg. The chartered yacht desk waited outside, a uniformed coordinator reviewing manifests. He looked up as they approached. Harlan party? Yes. Megan stepped forward, adjusting her sunglasses. We're ready for the shuttle. The coordinator tapped his tablet, expression neutral. I see the booking, but it's flagged. Primary holder Beatrice Harlan isn't listed. Without her, access is restricted. Dylan's stomach dropped. What? She's back home. It's her gift. Policy requires her presence for family tier. Otherwise, it's standard rate. $2,500 per night, prepaid. Carla's eyes widened. That's outrageous! We're expected. The coordinator shrugged. No prepay confirmation post-adjustment. I can't board you. Megan's face reddened. This is absurd. Call your manager. He did, but the response echoed, voided without lead guessed. Alternatives loomed. A public shuttle across the island, crowded and basic. They loaded onto it reluctantly, the vessel rocking under diesel fumes. Megan broke a heel, dragging Carla's bag aboard, no porters in sight. The twins griped about the heat, asking for water repeatedly. Dylan sat wedged on a bench, phone in hand, drafting yet another plea. The waves slapped against the hull as they pulled away, the villa's silhouette distant on the horizon. Hours later, they stepped into the sticky air, the cabin's coolness giving way to Honolulu's enveloping warmth. The terminal buzzed with arriving groups, scents of plumeria mixing with jet fuel. Dylan grabbed the bags from the carousel, his earlier frustrations simmering under fatigue. Megan adjusted her hat, scanning for the villa's welcome sign. Carla fanned herself with a brochure, her bracelets jingling faintly. The twins trailed behind, rubbing eyes and murmuring about thirst. They approached the dedicated counter for elite transfers, a polished setup with chilled towels and fruit-infused water on display. The attendant, in a crisp Aloha shirt, checked his screen. "Harlan reservation?" "That's us," Dylan confirmed, setting down the luggage. The attendant scrolled, his brow furrowing. "Active booking shows, but it's tied to Beatrice Harlan as primary. She's not on the manifest. Protocol voids the complimentary shuttle without her." Megan's posture stiffened. "She's stateside. This was her arrangement. Proceed anyway." "Can't override," he explained. "It's a club policy for sponsored stays. You'd need to confirm with her directly." Carla interjected, her voice rising. "This heat's killing me. Get us on that boat now." The attendant remained unmoved. "Without clearance, no boarding. Public options are available dockside." Dylan's irritation flared. "You realize who set this up? Beatrice Harlan, gallery owner in Chicago." The attendant tapped again. "Irrelevant without her verification. Suggest contacting her." Megan pulled her phone, dialing my number, but it rang straight to voicemail. Evelyn's message arrived on my end instead. Proof compiled, including scans of loan docs with Megan's forged signature under my name for her personal debts. They gathered their things, heading to the public pier where locals and budget travelers clustered. The shuttle here was a weathered ferry, benches worn and paint chipped. No air conditioning, just open sides letting in salt spray. Megan hauled Carla's bag aboard, her nail catching and snapping. "This is ridiculous," she snapped. Carla slumped onto a seat, clutching her chest dramatically. "My pressure's spiking. Val, do something." Dylan squeezed in beside the twins, who shifted uncomfortably on the hard surface. The engine rumbled to life, the vessel pulling away from the dock with a lurch. Waves jostled them as they crossed, spray misting faces and ruining Megan's styled hair. Carla complained steadily about the discomfort. Her earlier triumph faded. The twins huddled closer, one resting head on Dylan's lap. The ferry docked at the villa's service pier, far from the grand entrance with its torchlit paths. They disembarked, looking disheveled, like castaways from a storm. Mr. Ellis, the villa manager in a neat vest, met them with a folder in hand. "Harlan Group," he noted dryly. "Unexpected via this route." Dylan rushed forward. Huge mix-up with the cards en route. Beatrice must have tangled something. "Keys to the bungalow, please. We'll freshen up and wire the fix." Mr. Ellis opened the folder. "Impossible without her check-in. Contract stipulates her presence for the family rate. Otherwise, it's void." Megan halted. "What does her being here matter?" "Core term," he replied. "You're now walk-ins during peak season. Recalculated $2,500 nightly. Full stay up front." Carla's jaw dropped. Extortion. Pure and simple. Mr. Ellis ignored the outburst. Plus, the oceanfront units reassigned to paying guests. Only garden view standards remain, near the maintenance shed. Dylan's color drained, sweat beading despite the breeze. He stood on the wooden planks, listening to distant generators hum, grasping that this setback ran deeper than a simple error. "We lack that cash flow right now," he admitted quietly. Mr. Ellis offered a polite but firm smile. "Then the return shuttle departs at dawn." Arguments erupted then. Megan pointed at Dylan. "Your mother's behind this, spiteful after we chose wisely." Carla nodded vigorously. "Told you not to cross her till assets transferred." Dylan rounded on them. "You pushed for Carla tagging along, own it." The twins watched wide-eyed, one tugging Megan's sleeve for reassurance. She brushed it off, her focus on the escalating blame. Evelyn's text detailed the forgery. Megan had signed my name on a $20,000 loan for her lifestyle upgrades. routing payments through gallery-linked accounts I'd overlooked. Mr. Ellis stepped back, letting them vent. Security hovered nearby, ready if needed. Megan tried bargaining. "Waive it this once. We're with kids." He shook his head. "Instructions are clear. Bank pulled guarantees." Carla feigned a swoon, leaning against a post. Heart palpitations. "Someone help." Dylan steadied her, his patience thinning. "Enough theatrics. Focus on solutions." They retreated to a nearby bench, the villa's lights taunting from afar. Megan scrolled banking apps again, confirming the blocks. "Everything's frozen. She did this." Carla clutched her purse tighter. "Well, I'm not stranded here. Figure your mess." The twins grew quieter, sensing the fracture. Dylan paced, mind racing through options like hitching a ride or pawning items. Mr. Ellis returned with water bottles as a courtesy. Public beach has spots if needed overnight. Megan's eyes flashed. "With children! You're heartless." He turned away, attending other arrivals who boarded smoothly. Blame circled back. Dylan accused Megan of overstepping with decisions. She countered about his dependence on my support. Carla stayed peripheral, her drama subsiding into calculated quiet. Evelyn followed up. Legal filings initiated for the forgery, potential fraud charges if pursued. The group huddled as dusk fell, the humidity clinging like regret. Dylan suggested pooling pockets for a basic motel nearby. Megan agreed reluctantly, Carla contributing minimally. They flagged a local van, cramming in for the short haul to a run-down spot near the airport strip. Neon signs flickered outside, promising cheap rates. Inside the lobby, the clerk demanded cash up front. They scraped together enough for one room, the space cramped with thin walls and musty air. Beds sagged under weight as they settled. The twins claimed a corner, exhausted. Megan unpacked essentials, her movement sharp. Carla claimed the armchair, fanning herself anew. "This dump? Unacceptable!" Dylan sat on the floor, back against the wall, scrolling contacts for any allies. No luck. Tension built as they unpacked the day's failures. Megan admitted partial fault in the ticket swap. Carla deflected, blaming my control issues. The twins dozed off amid the murmurs, their innocence a stark contrast. Dylan finally voiced it. "We need to reach her. Apologize, whatever it takes." Megan nodded, but resentment lingered. Carla stayed silent, her mind elsewhere. The room's fan whirred overhead, doing little against the stuffiness. Sleep came fitfully, the weight of isolation pressing down. By evening, they'd crammed into a dim room off the airport highway, the single bulb flickering above a cracked mirror. 2 double beds took most of the floor space, a tiny bathroom leaking a steady drip. Dylan dropped the last bag near the door and sat on the edge of a mattress, elbows on knees. Megan paced the narrow strip between beds, scrolling uselessly for any open credit line. Carla claimed the only chair, legs crossed, staring at the peeling wallpaper like it had personally offended her. The twins curled up under thin blankets, finally quiet. Logan clutched his stuffed turtle. Avery pressed her face into the pillow. Outside, planes roared overhead every few minutes, shaking the walls. Dylan broke the silence first. "We have to call her, now." Megan stopped pacing. "And say what? Sorry we took your trip and your ticket?" "Just dial," he answered, voice flat. He put the phone on speaker and set it on the nightstand. I picked up on the 3rd ring, my gallery office calm behind me. Their faces filled the screen, tired, sweaty, defeated. "Ma," Dylan started, leaning closer. "We're stuck in a motel. Everything's locked. Please, just unlock the accounts long enough for us to get home." Megan pushed into frame. "Beatrice, this is cruel. The kids are exhausted. We get it. You're upset, but punish us, not them." Carla stayed out of view, arms folded tight. I let them talk a moment longer, then spoke. "You want me to believe this is about the kids? Fine, let me show you something." I turned my laptop so the camera caught the screen. Bank statements, highlighted lines. $38,000 moved from the twins' college fund into an account titled Harlan Family Art Acquisitions. the signature on every withdrawal. My name, but not my handwriting. Megan's eyes widened. That's not... It is. I cut in. Forensic already confirmed the forgery. That money was earmarked for Logan and Avery. You used it for your pop-up boutique that folded last year. Dylan turned to her, slow. You told me Beatrice approved those transfers. Megan opened her mouth, closed it. Carla finally leaned forward. I knew about some of it, she muttered. Megan said it was temporary, that you'd never notice. Dylan's face hardened. Temporary? That was their future. The room went still. Even the drippy faucet sounded louder. Logan's small voice came from the side. He had crawled to the phone while the adults argued. Grandma, he whispered just to me, off speaker. Are you mad at us? My heart cracked, but I kept my voice soft. Never at you, sweetheart. Only at grown-up choices. He nodded, eyes glassy, then crawled back under the blanket. Dylan stared at Megan like he was seeing her for the first time. How much more did you take? She didn't answer. Carla looked away. I continued. The gallery's operating account, another $42,000 gone. Signed the same way. I'm filing reports tomorrow. Fraud carries real consequences. Megan found her voice. You wouldn't dare. We're family. Family doesn't steal from children, I said, and ended the call. The screen went black. Dylan sat frozen. Megan started crying. Quiet, angry tears. Carla stood up, grabbed her purse, and moved toward the door. Where are you going? Dylan asked. To get air, Carla snapped. You two sort your marriage. I'm done being the scapegoat. She stepped out, letting the door slam. The roar of another departing plane swallowed the sound. Inside, Megan sank onto the bed, head in her hands. Dylan didn't comfort her. He just stared at the closed door his mother-in-law had walked through, then at the two sleeping kids, then at the woman he'd trusted with everything. For the first time in years, he looked completely alone. Morning light hit the motel's bars as Megan hit record on her phone, propping it against a water glass. She wiped her face, forced a tremble into her voice, and started talking straight to the camera. Everyone, I need you to see what my mother-in-law just did to us. She paid for a dream Hawaii vacation, then at the last second pulled every dollar because we brought my mom instead of her. Now we're trapped in a roach motel with 2 little kids and no way home. She's punishing her own grandkids to spite me. Please share so someone can help. She posted it with the hashtags #ToxicMill, #FamilyBetrayal, #HelpUsGetHome. Within an hour, the clip crossed 200,000 views. Comments poured in. Anger, tears, offers of GoFundMe links. Megan refreshed nonstop, reading the outrage aloud like it proved her right. Dylan watched from the doorway, arms folded. He said nothing. Carla scrolled on her own phone in the corner, smirking at the sudden attention. Back in Chicago, Evelyn forwarded me the link while we sat in the back office of the gallery surrounded by framed abstracts. She had already pulled the paperwork, bank records, forged signatures, timestamps. I recorded my response on the professional camera we use for artist interviews. Soft gallery lighting, no drama, just facts. I posted it an hour later from the gallery's verified account. Title: A correction to a viral story. In the video, I laid the documents on the table one by one. College fund statements showing $42,000 missing. Loan agreements with my forged signature. Texts where Megan asked Carla to keep it quiet until the transfer's clear. I spoke calmly, the way I talk to collectors who try to lowball a piece. This trip was my gift. They chose to replace me with someone else. That was their right. Taking money meant for the twins was not. I simply stopped the bleeding. Evelyn's network did the rest. Curators, gallery owners, and art world influencers shared it within minutes. Hashtags flipped overnight. #receipts, #protectthekids, #artworldT. The original video stalled. Mine crossed 1 million views by dinner. Comments under Megan's post turned brutal. People stitched her clip with screenshots of the forgeries. Someone dug up Carla's old Facebook bragging about flipping a senior's collection years ago. Same pattern. The internet loves a plot twist. Megan refreshed again and watched the tide turn in real time. Donations that had trickled in reversed. Strangers who'd offered plane tickets now called her a liar. She tried deleting the video, but the damage was done. Carla saw her name trending for all the wrong reasons and went pale. She started packing her smaller bag, muttering about catching an earlier flight. Dylan finally spoke. "You used my mother's name to steal from my kids." Megan had no answer left. I closed the gallery early, rolled out my mat in the back studio, and did a slow yoga flow while the city lights came on outside the windows. Breathing steady, I felt the last threads of obligation loosen and fall away. Evelyn texted, "Police report filed. Fraud division has the file. Carla's old case just got reopened because of the new attention." I typed back, "Let it run its course." Then I opened the charity portal I'd been researching and transferred the remaining liquid gallery assets, 6 figures, into a restricted scholarship fund for children of single artists. Locked, untouchable, named after no one in the family. Phone on silent, I finished my practice, palms together at Heart Center. For the first time in decades, the space inside my chest felt entirely my own. As sun rose higher, Carla rifled her bag in the motel parking lot, counting the thick envelope she'd kept hidden since Chicago. $23,000 in mixed bills, skimmed over years from small gallery consignments I never noticed. She stuffed it into a money belt under her blouse, slung the smaller suitcase over her shoulder, and walked toward the road without looking back. Inside the room, Dylan noticed her absence first. He stepped out, spotted her hailing a passing shuttle, and ran after it barefoot across hot asphalt. The driver slowed just long enough for Carla to climb aboard. Dylan reached the door as it closed, pounding once before the van pulled away. Megan watched from the window, arms wrapped around herself. The twins were still asleep. Carla made it to the terminal, bought a one-way ticket to Los Angeles with cash, and headed straight for security. She felt safe, anonymous among the crowds, money belt snug against her skin. The fraud alert Evelyn had triggered the night before had already reached Honolulu PD. 2 plainclothes officers waited at the gate, badges ready. They stopped her politely, asked for ID, then cuffed her in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows while passengers filmed on phones. Back at the motel, Dylan returned sweating and defeated. Megan met him at the door, eyes red. "She took everything we had left," he said, voice hollow. Megan laughed once, sharp and bitter. "She played us both, just like she played your mother." The argument started low and built fast. Years of resentment poured out, accusations about money, about choices, about who really ruined the family. The twins woke up crying. Dylan grabbed his keys, told Megan he was getting them home any way he could, and left her standing in the middle of the wrecked room. His phone rang the whole drive to the airport. Megan, then blocked numbers, then Megan again. He let it die. At the departures curb, he saw the crowd around the police escort. Carla in cuffs, head down, being led away. An officer confirmed her name when he asked. Dylan stood there a long time, watching the patrol car disappear. He bought the cheapest tickets he could find, 3 seats on a red-eye with 2 connections, using the last working card that still had a tiny limit. He went back, loaded the twins into a taxi, and told Megan they were leaving that night, with or without her. She came. No one spoke the entire way. I was finishing breakfast on my terrace when the final call came through, Dylan's name flashing on the screen. I let it ring out, then blocked the number for good. Evelyn sat across from me with fresh coffee in the morning paper. "Charges are federal now," she said. "Carla won't see daylight for years. The others will be served when they land." I nodded, signed the last page of the police report she had brought over, and slid it back. "File it," I told her, "and close every account they ever touched." She smiled, tucked the folder into her briefcase, and raised her cup. "To clean canvases," she said. I touched my cup to hers and drank. 2 weeks later, I stood at O'Hare again, this time alone, boarding a direct flight to Napa Valley with nothing but a carry-on and a first-class ticket I paid for with my own money. The same terminal, different woman. Their plane had landed days earlier. I never asked which airline or how many stops. I didn't need to. Dylan took a night janitor job at an office park in the suburbs, the kind of place where the lights stay on for the cleaning crew long after everyone else has gone home. Megan works the front desk at a discount salon, cutting hair for tips and trying to smile through the whispers of customers who recognize her from the viral mess. Their condo is in foreclosure. The twins now ride the yellow school bus instead of the private van I used to pay for. Creditors call non-stop. The college funds are gone, and the interest on what Megan borrowed under my name keeps climbing. Carla is being held without bail in Honolulu, while federal prosecutors add the old cases to the new ones. She won't be coming back anytime soon. I never answered another message, never opened another letter. The day their last joint account hit zero, I closed the door for good. Some people call it cruel. I call it the first time I ever treated myself with the same respect I gave everyone else for 40 years. Here's what I learned, and what I hope you take from this. Love is not a blank check. Generosity without boundaries is just slow self-destruction. The moment you stop rescuing adults from the consequences of their own choices, you finally give them the chance to grow, or to reveal who they really are. Protecting your peace is not punishment. It's survival. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do for your grandchildren is to show them that no one, not even family, is entitled to steal their future. I'm 65, healthier than I've been in a decade, and for the first time in my life, every dollar, every plan, and every sunrise belongs to me alone. So, to every person watching who's been told family comes first, until it empties your pockets and your spirit, family comes first only when respect goes both ways. The second it stops, you have my full permission to choose yourself. I boarded the plane, fastened my seatbelt, and as we taxied toward the runway, I looked out at the Chicago skyline one last time. Then I turned my phone off, leaned back, and smiled. Because the next chapter of my life starts now, and no one gets a ticket unless they've earned the right to sit beside me.